Okay, welcome everybody.
I am a man
I
who
guess
uses the techniques of a bat.
we are everyone. Is it time?
Yeah, motherfucker from the underfunded klutz who
Man,
never undercut the butcher.
I'm so on time as a German, so it's already 8. Let's go. Welcome to SGDC with your wise. Oh hell no! Don't ask me anything after this. Host Mareike, that's me, and everyone here is of course here to show their stuff. So let's get to showing our stuffs. That means I will go to here. No. I will go out of here. I just realized. And the first person to show up is, of course, someone that I will announce now. It will be actually Lena.
Hello, I'm Lena. Last time I showed you this thingy that I made, explaining who I am. So today I will show Broken Alliance pixel art that I have been making. So I do like art direction, but I also like to keep my hands on the project as well. So firstly, I really love when games have themed cursors. And this is like each faction in our game has like a themed cursor now. These are new, these were made before already. So these are the kind of a human Nordic faction, then we have a horror faction, this one, then Paradise faction, and the most mechanical kind of faction in here. So well, whichever you choose and you play the game, then your cursor will look different from it. Also your cards will look different. So these are card backgrounds in the game, and in here, up in here, we put like the what character will be using this card, for example. So this is a regular one for the human Anchorage faction, and this one is like a magic one, and this one is a trap one for the same faction. Then we have the horror faction. This is the regular one for them. This is the trap one, I think. No, that was the magic one, and this one is the trap one for the horror faction. Then that's a item, like a artifact card, and this is the Paradise faction cards, and this one is regular. Then this is the trap, and this is the magic one, very shiny. And then the last one, the mechanical one. We have the regular one. This is the trap mechanics. And this is the magical one. They use more like technology-based stuff in there. It's a lot of fun just to give player like a different style of UI and everything when they're playing the game. I made for the horror faction some clothes. If you're wondering why do they have only one leg, then it's because they are on a mount, so you don't see the other leg. So these are the different, but you can mix and match all tops, bottoms, and and the characters themselves are either like this void creature or corrupted human character, and so they have a bit different body shapes. So I had to make all the clothes for all the body shapes as well. And my last favorite thing now that I made in the last few days is the mounts for them. So they have two types of mounts. The horror faction, one of them is a nightmare the horse type of mount, and the other one is Spiker, I guess. yeah, that's it. A lot of fun just to make different colors of these. Yeah, so a lot of dark stuff now. I'm gonna make some more UI for the dark faction. We have only made it for the Anchorage, the most, like I call it, the vanilla or basic faction kind of, which makes everything else more special feeling as well. So yeah, next I'm gonna just make some more UI for the horror faction, and then we are done with the horror faction. Currently our plan is to early access release the game in the end of this year, so in October already, in the middle, I think. I guess, yeah. And we will be on Poznan Game Arena. First time we're gonna have our own booth, so that's gonna be super exciting for that time as well. Yeah. So that's it for me. If anybody has any questions, let me know. No questions. Good. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Aiden with what I've been up to and what's next.
And not what I'm doing presently. Right. Hey there, folks. How we doing? All right. So, my name's Aiden. I think everyone already knows that. I've been working on my dungeon gold scraping game. It's going well. I made some 3D models for the environment, so it's no longer flat walls. I've added a ticket muncher thing for processing the gold. I've added a shop with items. And I've added a goal and a level transition, so there's actually something to do. And I added some sound, some ambiance, a little bit of music. And I got a little video here that I think will work. So there's the goal there. You have to get a certain amount of gold in the level. Little shop guy. So it's kind of hard to see on there because you can't actually see the mouse cursor, but the little scraping thing drags along a bit behind it, so you can sort of get a little more feedback that way. You can also tilt the angle you're scraping at, so you don't have to go all up or down, you can go sort of on angles. And then once you scrape the gold, you can't just spend it directly, you got to process it, so you have to take it to a little machine behind you there. Kind of like the old Chuck E. Cheese arcade machines. You can buy your upgrades or whatever. And you can be a little less tedious in scraping off the walls. And then I kind of jump ahead here because I realized I was recording for like 5 minutes and I need good visuals. So you've got the minimum amount to go to the next level. And you're showing off the movement a little more. And that's about that. So as far as what's next, I'm going to have some more varied level generation. So right now it's just hallways, but I have it set up where I can do different room prefabs. So maybe there's a room with some more stuff going on you have to go into, or different junctions, or you can get lost. Maybe you have to mark the walls so you know which way to get back. I have the code to hide things behind the gold, so as you're scraping you might find text or runes or something, and then like a dialogue pop up, or it will happen, or you'll trigger a trap, or get some loot. I'm going to swap out some graphical stuff for some nicer looking things, namely the default cubes on the shop there. and I'm aiming to have an early demo type thing out on itch relatively soon-ish. But I've got something else I'm going to be working on for this month. So, Drive-Thru RPG / Dungeon Masters Guild / Roll20, they're all sort of the same entity, are running a game jam. And the theme of it is lasting from the beginning to the end of this month, and the theme is to pick one of the official starter sets from different role-playing games and continue from where those sets left off and do a little mini-module. And it's not limited just to Dungeons & Dragons. Any system they host is allowed, so you've got your Call of Cthulhu, Vampire the Masquerade, Shadowrun, all that fun stuff. I'm going to be doing Dungeons & Dragons, because that's what I'm most familiar with, but I thought I'd give that a little shout-out. Any questions? Yep.
Are you planning on adding some kind of, I would say, difficulty element into the game as well?
Yeah, so there's a couple different things. So one of the things I have in mind is maybe there's things that you don't want to scrape off, like there's something you don't want to trigger behind the gold. One of the things in there right now is that it is possible to spend more money than it is to be able to unlock the lift at the end, so there's a little end state there. But as far as like monsters in the hallway or things like that, I don't think so. Yeah. Marika?
There's a question from the chat that is, what was the inspiration for the gold scraping mechanic?
So it's a mix of two things. So there was the Dungeon Meshi has a bit where they talk about how they have to scrape gold off the walls early on to get money. And then a later bit was the old scratcher cards. I don't know if you guys have those here in Sweden, but they're like lottery tickets you got to scratch off. So I used to just scratch those off even after the game was done. So I thought it was fun. Casper?
Have you considered having gemstones you need to like block out?
Yeah. It's part of the uncovering thing I mentioned there.
Alright.
Alright, anything else? Yep, Lena?
Why is there gold on the walls and who put it in there?
Excellent question. Josh?
Are you planning on playtesting your Dungeons & Dragons module?
Oh gosh, that's a whole nother beast entirely.
Yeah.
What they're looking for the jam is something that'll last between 3 and 4 sessions. So in order to playtest that by the end of the month, it would have to be pretty sort of shoved in there.
Or playtest
maybe.
it after.
Oh yeah, that's true as well. Maybe, I won't say no. Anything else? I can't really see because of the pitch black room here, but I assume that's everyone, so thank you.
Next up is Natasha with 3 things.
Okay. So the first thing is that I'm leaving in 2 days. So you can say goodbye to me on Saturday or on Sunday in the morning. So I'll like sleep over the last night and then I'll leave the next day. So yeah, compared to what I thought I would be doing when I came here in the spring, I did make lots of friends, and sorry, is it?
Yes.
I kind of got into it. I can make it bigger,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. I did spend a lot of time like working on my stuff every day, which was good. I didn't get like stopped too much. There were a couple of down days, but overall it was good. But I didn't succeed in getting a job, but I did try. And I didn't take a lot of pictures because I suck at that, but there were a couple. Yeah. But I will be back for Halloween. Yes. Planning to definitely try some new things for the next game jam, and I feel like I'm still kind of in my game jam arc, so I'm going to keep doing them for the time being. Yeah. And okay, the third thing I want to talk about is that I made this puzzle solving algorithm, and every time I try to explain, everyone loses interest, but I will try again.
So it started when I wanted to play this old game from 1996 that I used to play in my grandma's house. But I don't like remakes, so I wanted to play the original version, so I set up a Windows 98 VM and started playing it. But I discovered that one of the puzzles, like once I got to the harder levels, I discovered that a couple of the puzzles were a bit more tedium than intellectual problem solving. So as kind of a side project, I decided to write a program to solve this puzzle for me. So in this puzzle, you basically have to match the traits of these two groups of characters. And the concept of the way to do that without guessing is to basically count up all their traits in both populations and then match them. Because like if you found that everybody in population A, there's exactly 9 people who have thing A, and then the other one, there's exactly 9 people who have thing B, you would know that those two are equal, and then you can eliminate them. So that's the basic concept. So I spent a few days sketching it out on paper because it was very complex, and then I started coding it, and I kind of realized I was doing it the wrong way, so then I kind of fixed it, and then once I had that concept, then I could pretty much just translate the pseudocode into real code, and then I have to enter the data manually, but after that it ran and it solved the puzzle for me, and I used it to actually solve it in the game, and it worked, and it was super fun. Yeah. I just wanted to mention that because, like, I don't know what this is called, like, it's more like developing one really complex function, but yeah, I found it surprisingly fun, and I would kind of like to do more of this. So that is what I wanted to say. So, James?
What's next?
What's next? Well, I'll still actually be here for a few days after I leave Spiel. But then I will be leaving Sweden to Germany for a while. I'm still career-wise, I might still do games. Kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Ryan?
I disrupted it the last second.
You want to say
Could you think of a favourite thing about being here this time? Anything
Oh
particular?
yeah, I had a lot of favorite things. I forgot to mention them.
Top 3 then.
Adventures, sports. I love all the sports activities. That's actually one of my favorite things about being here. And then, like, my least favorite part was the part where I couldn't walk for 3 weeks. I know, there was something else cool I wanted to say.
Okay.
Favorite things. Oh, no, it was just the adventures. Yeah. And the Breakfast Club. So, yeah. Thank you.
Next up is Borg with my spell pre-postmortem. Give it a applause for it.
Hello, hello. Let's see. I have completely not suspicious at all exe here. No, it's fine. So, what I'm here to showcase is about my time in Spel. 1 month game dev retreat pre-post-mortem. And yes, I am presenting this inside my game.
Oh.
So let's go. First off, let's start with a Borb recap. So yeah, I am still Borb. I'm still from Oulu, Finland. I'm still a programming teacher and solo indie. I'm still making Emurum, the non-violent creature scanning exploration puzzle platformer that you can visit on Steam. And I have been here in Spel for about 4 weeks now, and there's only less than 1 week left. And I'm leaving on September 11th back to Finland, so this is my last SGDC, at least this time around. So let's see what happened here. Well, first of all, I already said this before, but I can't stress this enough. Playtesting really happened. There was Johannes, Box, Martin, Harry, Daniel, Alexis, and maybe some others as well that didn't fit on screen this time. But thank you everyone. You really made Emurom a better game. And well, what else happened besides playtesting? I did get something done here, as I was trying to. Of course, I made many fixes based on that playtesting. 65 commits, big and small, yay! And 2 weeks ago it was only 25 for those who are keeping score. And I also added some puzzles, yay! And worked on some critical endgame content, namely I created the first working version of Final Boss. Yeah, so there's not that much left content-wise for the game. And as of yesterday, actually, you can actually beat the game for the first time. And I see that as a major milestone. But let's be honest, what I really did here? Well, I played Mario Kart, and I went swimming, and then I also got back to working out. That was nice. And I saw a frog, hello, and built with Lego, and played the drums, and made new friends. The frog should be fine. Let's go ahead. But what's next? Well, I should still finish the final boss and do some iterations on it. And I should update the demo and write a devlog for the new update and write the fantasy console talk that I talked about last time. It's for the Northern Game Summit in Kajaani. So yeah, there's still things to do. But I'm not stressing too much about it. What I really want to do next is to play Mario Kart, go swimming again, and watch some cartoons, maybe participate in a game jam, and also have some more play testing. Because it's fun to watch people suffer, I've found it. So, if you want to, this might not be the best speech to get people into playtesting, but actually suffering is quite nice, actually. So, and speaking of which, I actually forgot to take something from the last screen, so I can't go to the next slide if I don't take this scanner here. So let's take this and go back. Was there anything? No, just the suffering. So now we can go forward. And there's not much left in this presentation either. So I will be going away, but one day I will return to Spel. And until then, I don't have actually anything else to say here, but wishlist Emurom. Any questions? There we go.
Did you win at Mario Kart a lot?
Yes. I don't want to brag, but most of the time.
When do you think you might come back?
Well, I'm quite sure it will not happen this year. There's still much work to do this year, and it will be most likely on site, so I'll have to be there in Oulu. But if I get some remote course to give, I could actually come here and give it from here at some point. Maybe next year. I try to make it happen as soon as possible.
How long did it take to make this presentation?
Surprisingly little, because I already had like most of the code ready. I have given presentations like this inside the game previously, and this is actually what I'm going to use for the Northern Game Summit presentation as well. So that's like the real reason why I wanted to do it here. So I actually got to work on that as well. Then there.
When will the game be done?
It will be out next year, I hope. So it's been like first time I said it will be done in 2020. So don't take my word for granted, but like I try to get it done so it's out and playable and buyable next year. There.
Chat wants to know if Borb can scan this though.
Oh yeah, I have no idea what's going to be there. The game might even crash. Oh, there's actually some spoilers. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is no. Yeah, this was actually we are accidentally in like one of the final rooms in the game. So.
Blame you have now.
No one saw anything. Yeah, are we done with questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Next up is Matt with He's Back.
Hello. Hi. Cool. Yes, I'm back. I've been here before. I made a little diagram of me going back and forth between Spelkollektivet and London. So I was here until May, and I left, and I'm back again. This is right now. I'm going to leave in November, but then I'm going to come back again, and hopefully many times after that. But it turns out this isn't just a diagram of my comings and goings. London is quite expensive. But I did some cool things there. So I started going to the Tentacle Zone, which is a nice normal place. It's a co-working space. It's like Spelkollektivet, but you can't sleep there, unfortunately. And I met some cool people there. And I also went to Develop Brighton, which is a conference where you can go to talks or go to the show floor. But I didn't really go there for those things. I went there for Meet to Match, where you can make meetings with people from publishers. And I went there and I showed them my game. And it's still kind of far off, but I wanted to kind of test the waters and introduce myself. So I was kind of saying to them, I'm not asking you for money now, but I'm warning you that in a year, I'm going to ask you for money. So I'll show you what my game is that I took there. It's called Monstrata. And it's a micro tactics monster game. So it's inspired by Pokemon and Into the Breach, and it's a simultaneous tactics game. So you and your opponent are choosing actions at the same time, and then you'll see them play out like red, blue, red, blue. You'll kind of see it in the bottom right corner here. So you can choose some actions. And yeah, and there's cool combinations of stuff you can do. So I'm just going to chuck on a video of the AI kind of like, whoops, the AI like playing against itself, so you can see some of the examples of things that can happen. So it's kind of a game of figuring out which combinations of monsters might work together, and that your opponent might not expect, and then also predicting on each turn what they're going to do and trying to outmaneuver them. Yeah. So there's a fair bit to do on that still. I'll talk more about it in following weeks. And I'm also a technical artist on a game called Enter the Chronos. Excuse me. Enter the Chronosphere. And the team that I'm working with is back in Australia. Let's put the yeah, so it's a top-down, turn-based roguelike shooter where time's frozen and you can make your move. Yeah, what else did I want to talk about? I have about 15 seconds. My main goals this time are to work consistently on Chronosphere. I'm not going to end up having that much time on Monstrata, but by the end of my stay this time, I want to be kind of have it open in like a low-key playtest. So be getting people to join the Discord and regularly updating it and playtesting the mechanics. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah.
Will you be able to play against other players in your game?
Oh, in Monstrata, yes. So there's already online multiplayer, 1v1. And in fact, it's only recently that I've added AI to play against. Marika?
What did the publishers say when you said to them that you will come for them next year?
Oh, what did the publishers say? I would say that the overall response was like moderately positive. It's kind of what I expected, I guess. It's a year out from them having to really make any judgment on it, so I feel like they are. I mean, they praised certain aspects of it, but overall, I feel like they're just trying to kind of feel it out. I told them I'd just keep them updated. Yeah, James?
I feel like your graph of your stays here wasn't complete. Why did you omit some facts?
Some facts?
You've been here before.
Oh, I have been here before. So way back before this, I was actually here in 2020 at the start. And it was going to be for a while, but then something happened, I can't remember what, and I had to go home in 2020 and eventually made it back here. Harry?
What parts did you work on in Chronosphere, like as the tech artist?
What parts do I work on? In Chronosphere, let's have a little look. I do like shader stuff. So the shader that does the outline, the shader that does this particular kind of like toon lighting. I don't know if this is the right key. I don't know if you can really see it that well. Let's see, slow motion. But you can sort of see this particular kind of lighting on things. What else? Little art tools. At the moment, I'm working on exteriors for the Chronosphere. So like what it's going to look like on the outside. Yeah, shading stuff mostly. Marika?
There was still a question from the chat, which is there a frog monster? Not sure if it relates to the Chronosphere or your game, but I guess you can answer for both.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember the Chronosphere. That's slipping my mind at the moment. In my game, in Monstrata, I don't have a frog monster yet, but I do actually have an idea for a frog monster. So I think there'll almost certainly be a frog monster in Monstrata. Eventually. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, next one is actually James with the documentary trailer.
I figured, just in case someone hasn't seen it yet, let's show it to you. Hello, my name is James. I live here. Yeah, I just figured in case someone was too lazy to actually watch it and hasn't gotten their ticket yet for the showing. Now here's a reminder and stuff. And yes, oh fuck. I don't have access to the announcement. Alright. I don't have access to anything.
Look it up on YouTube.
Oh shit. Was it just hidden? Fuck.
Right click on the saga and click show all channels. Down, there you go.
Damn. Is that what new people see? Nothing? Yeah. Either way, the documentary, for those who don't know, features cringe people like me and cool people like Lena, Matej, Michal, etc. And yes, it does feel cringe, but it is interesting, maybe. Here we go.
I've been in arguments online trying to convince someone that I'm not trying to scam them. Why are you writing this? This is exactly what I want, and you're just taunting me because I know what you're offering is not real. But it is real. You can come here and you can get all of this.
Everyone who's come to the house, the first reaction that they have, this is a cult.
Legally, it's a shitty hotel for game developers.
Forever in my mouth now!
For Americans, it's a communist hell.
I think Spelkollektivet is a community of people who dare to dream.
There were some people who were saying that this game is not a game, it doesn't have enough interactive elements to it. I was certain that whatever happens, I will finish this game.
We have zero budget. It's just not a joke.
I have seen other creators of projects that have gone this long. I have seen them struggle with depression. If I'm going to finally work on my own game, I better not fuck it up by burning myself out and starting to hate the project.
I think right now I'm kind of oscillating between fantasizing about absolutely amazing outcomes that will change my life and stressing out from the reality sinking in that nothing actually changes.
Instead of making other people's dreams come true, I want to make my dreams come true.
Like, what the fuck is this?
We're already 11 months behind on rent. The only reason we still exist is because the people we owe money to know our situation and they're not forcing the collection. If they would, we would be shutting down today. At some point, we're gonna have to make more money than we do today. I try not to do the math. Well, I can't let everybody down. Now I've gone so far and I'm deep in the shit right now.
Hello. Yeah, so we will have a live showing in Växjö, for those who haven't read the message yet. We've rented Palladium, which is like the old cool theater, which still looks pretty neat. There's like 2 floors to it, so maybe all the homies will be able to sit on the balconies and watch down like you're fucking Abraham Lincoln. And who knows? Maybe you get shot. Who knows? I don't promise anything. But yeah, and we've invited politicians, people who work for the municipality. We've also invited a few other people from different game incubators and hubs around Sweden. Because we've been here for 7 years now, and we've never had anyone from any of the hubs and incubators in Sweden visit us, or they barely know what we're doing. And in size, if we look at the amount of developers, we are the biggest hub in Sweden. But we don't really get any recognition as being one of the hubs in Sweden because they don't know what we're doing, because so that's one hope of this showing, that we actually get to show that we're a real place, we exist and whatever. So yeah, and for those interested, we'll go and eat at my favorite place afterwards, and that's the only reason I want to see this movie, is so I can eat that foodie afterwards. Any questions? Hello.
When are you making the sequel?
I mean, it depends on the sales of the first one.
Okay.
Since we're not charging money for it, it's not likely that we can afford a second.
Fair enough.
However, I am looking for, I have a trilogy in mind. Because the first one is called To Build a Castle. And I'm thinking, if we succeed after this, maybe it gets to my head. So the sequel can be To Corrupt the Castle. So it shows my downfall and how I slightly start twisting the idea and pervert the idea of Spelkollektivet. Maybe we start having sex circles. I don't know. Either way, that's a future thing. So, and then the third one is to raise a castle, how the whole Spelkollektivet comes down, all my murders and how I beat you up and all that stuff comes out into public. So that's the trilogy in mind. I'm still pitching it to Jonathan, but we'll see. Harry?
Yeah, 2 questions actually. So how did the idea for the documentary come about? And then what are some of the ideal outcomes you're expecting from the documentary?
So the idea came basically from Jonathan Dueck. He makes documentary for Swedish television originally. So he's made about the cartels smuggling dogs to Sweden, for example, and a bunch of other subjects. And he saw Spelkollektivet on Facebook one day, and he's been thinking about doing a personal project for a long time, and he's really into games in general, and he just thought that the idea of Spelkollektivet sounded so unique and interesting, so he asked me if he could come here and just check it out and maybe record something. So I don't know if he approached me in 2018 or 19, maybe 2018 already, but 2019 is the first time he started actually filming here. So, and I can show that maybe on, am I the last presenter on the public one? Yeah, I can show something here, if people don't mind, from the first draft of the documentary had another stuff, because it started so long time ago. The first people who the documentary was supposed to be about was actually Joseph and Simone, who some of you might recognize from before. So I'm just gonna, here's even a pre-alpha of 5 years ago. We did a pre-alpha teaser, and obviously the documentary took way longer. But here's some of what's the scrapped parts from the subject of the documentary from before.
Just imagine this guy in front of you at this indie festival just telling you there's a house in the middle of nowhere in Sweden where game developers live. You're like, yeah, once you hear it's it exists.
This is not color graded or anything.
Who's come to the house, the first reaction that they have when they just hear about it and they don't see anything, they're like, this is a cult. And they're super suspicious. So we sent an application and then just went here because I think like all the pieces just fell into place because we were at a point where we were like, might as well go to Sweden and live in the middle of nowhere.
My name is Joseph. I'm currently working in Sweden. My partner and I, we started a company and we are trying to get the ball rolling.
I would say I'm an artist slash art director, so I just like to draw basically, and through just wanting to draw and also the drawings having some purpose, I kind of got into making games.
So Simone is very skillful with her art direction, so I try to have all the administration tasks to take it away from her so she can just focus on the art creation, and I'm doing the painful business side.
We've been together for a long time and we've known one another since I think like 6 or 7 years. I never really thought about that I can just be with a person for that amount of time and just...
It's like two cogwheels. It's a perfect fit so far. We are in the same wavelength. I cannot describe this in words. It just works perfectly.
Like I feel nothing changed from day one to now. Oh, I'm getting a little emotional. I like him a lot.
Simone and Joseph, yeah, they were the first people who were that was supposed to be about, but yeah, then they left in the beginning of the fall of 2019, so it's hard to continue the story about them. So, cool. Any final questions? Hello.
Do you plan to like try to sell the documentary to like TV stations or something like that?
Jonathan had some discussions with people to try to do that.
Yeah.
There's a few complications with it. Like, first off, the first subject was like to do it with Swedish television, like usually. The main issue with that is that then they get full distribution rights globally, but they only do it in Sweden. So that means that we can't really show the documentary outside of Sweden, which sucks. Because like for our sake, we would benefit greatly the more people who sees it, especially from abroad. So that, and in the end as well, they want that it didn't fit what they wanted enough because, how do I say, it was too wholesome, sort of like. They needed more drama, they needed a bigger arc, they needed more points of failures and redemption arcs and all that stuff, like, and which is hard to give. Like, sure, you could like manufacture it. I think like what you see in the trailer there with me, like, with the invoices. Yeah, I mean, sure, we were behind on the invoices, but yeah, we did like specifically sit down to like, okay, let's act, like me putting on an act, like, going through them and like. So it's like there is a little bit of acting there to add some dramatic flair to it, because as you know, I don't have any emotions. But yeah, So we tried adding some drama to it, but just it wasn't enough drama for it to make sense as a movie like that.
No.
Yeah. Harry?
Yeah, no, I had a second question as well. Like, what is the ideal outcome?
Oh yeah, ideal outcome. Well, ideal outcome is that people see this and identify with, hey, this is what I want in my life, and like hopefully that the documentary is enough to show them like, hey, this is a real thing. Because as many people, like a lot of people do apply. A lot of people have been here. We had like 400 or 500 people here over the years, but a lot of people, even like on the day they arrive, they're like, I wasn't sure it was real, or like it's bigger than I thought. It's like, because in the end, it's like what we are trying to sell is the idea of something that, for a lot of people, could be a really cool thing, but it's still hard to believe, right? And so hopefully it helps people over that threshold of like even trusting it. Because for as many people who did trust it enough to come here, what if there's like twice as many people who didn't come here because they're like, yeah, this is a scam. Who knows? I don't know. So maybe that secondary, or even better, would be that the people from the municipality or other game incubators, etc., they see this and actually take us seriously and might want to work with us on stuff. Yeah. All good? So, yeah. Was that the final one?
Yeah.
Okay. If you have too much money and want to waste it on something that's shit, waste it on us. Otherwise, thank you for showing up and have a pleasant life. Bye!